Good day, all uranium fans and anyone else watching this video. I'm going to talk about today some of my favorites at each of the levels of risk within the uranium space. This is going to be some equities, many of which I'll own, but not all of them, and I'll explain that on the way. And a reminder, as you'll see in the next slide, if I own them, that doesn't mean you should. So let's get into it. Please give this a quick read and remember to always question if anyone, especially some random person on YouTube, knows what they're talking about. Now, before we get into talking about individual names, I think it's very important, and I've mentioned this before and I'll probably say it again, to talk about diversification and position sizing. I wouldn't, even for the top names in this, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting a huge amount of my uranium position into any given name. I own all little pieces of a lot of these things, so, and I think that that's the best way of going about it. So, in terms of the minimal risk, or basically holdings of physical uranium, the one I have is Uranium Participation Corporation. That's not to say it's the best. UPC is slightly different from Yellow Cake PLC, which is slightly different from Uranium Trading Corporation. They're all, I would think, would trade in tandem or with the price of uranium, and I don't really say one is definitely better than the others. They're slightly different. You couldn't look up the discrepancies, but this is the one I just happen to have. So, in terms of the lowest risk equities, I actually don't own either Cameco or NextGen. That's not to say that I hate either of them. I don't. I absolutely don't. I've looked at buying both of them. My problem with Cameco is it seems to me that it's priced in already maybe 50 to 55, maybe $60 uranium because I think the market on that one thinks or knows that that's where it wants to go. So I don't see necessarily the upside, but beyond that, it has great leverage to the upside in price. Next gen, there's no doubt in my mind that Arrow is the best undeveloped project in the world. But my two hesitations are the timeline. I'm not sure it's going to be ready in time for this bull run, and also I this it's big, it's huge, and it's getting bigger in terms of speed of production, which in a market this small has me kind of concerned. But to be clear, I do like both of these, and I do think that they will significantly increase. I just don't own either of them. If I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be Cameco. In terms of the second tier of risk equities, uh, my largest position is in Denison, which I I really, really, really like the Wheeler River project. They do have other things going on, but I think that, let's say 90% of their value is in Wheeler River. And I, they have 100 million pounds in Saskatchewan, one of the second best, I believe, mining district in the world or something. I don't know if it was best or second best. Um, and this ISR in that deposit should be like ridiculous if it works. It ISR has allowed marginal deep deposits all over the world, or mostly in the US actually, but US and Kazakhstan, to be economic. And those were the tiny low-grade deposits. ISR in the Athabasca Basin at a high-grade deposit, it's that's why it's my favorite. Within the third tier of equities, again, I don't actually own any. I've really been really trying to be patient on Paladin would be my favorite within this at anything resembling these prices. They have a mine that is already built and they have almost half as many pounds of uranium as Cameco. Do I think they're worth half of what Cameco is worth? No, because of the risk here, the added risk of uh, their biggest mine of Paladin being in Africa and they're not producing anything, and they have debt that they use to build the mine, and so just watching, waiting. Of the third tier, I would say Paladin is my favorite, but I do not own either. Within the fourth tier uranium equities, I have to say I own a lot in this field for various reasons. I own different ones for different reasons, but my largest holding within the sector is Laramide Resources. This is partially due to the fact that I believe it is quite undervalued, and partially due to the fact that it has performed decently from where I made my initial position size. But on Laramide, I just think that you have to just look at the assets, look at the market cap, and say, well, I say, I don't know, something seems off there. Now they do have debt again, which sets a bit of a timer for it, but I think that the assets divided by the market cap makes it worth the risk. This one, though, it would not shock me if the uranium story takes longer to play out, if it got uh, some major beatdown along the way. So in this video, I guess I merged the last two, pure speculation and forgotten uranium, because they're pretty close to the same thing. Now, my favorite in this field is Sky Harbor Resources, which I do own some of. Very small position again. Um, but the joke I would say with this one is they're using other people's money to look for more uranium. And if you're familiar with Sky Harbor, that was at least a groaner. Sorry. Um, now, why I like this one, I like their management. I like their land package in the Athabasca Basin. What I don't like is that I feel they've went a bit silent recently, and so that's not inspiring. And when you look at what they're trying to sell in their presentation, there's a lot of focus on the uranium story and not much focus on what they have within it. So that's my hesitation there, but they are, this is a speculation category. So they could do quite well and they could be worth what they are worth today, which is not a whole heck of a lot. So as I leave you off, everyone, again, thanks for watching. I would love to hear comments. What am I missing about some of the categories I don't own? What are your favorites? I would love to hear what other people are thinking and why, more so, why are they your favorites? Because I know that I don't know everything. I know that everyone has some information and that's what makes up the markets. So I'd love to hear what you like and why. Thanks. I'll catch you next time. I hope you enjoyed.